Well, hello. Hello and welcome everyone to this Wednesday's live stream pop-up art studio hangouts. I just came from a fantastic virtual class with Danny Crosby at Durham College. It's their fine arts community collaboration course, and wow, you know what? I'm joining you here, super inspired and super happy. Hello, Shelley. So nice to see you. Welcome back. Welcome back. So today, I don't know, I've got so many things that are inside my brain. I think it'll take some time to sift out. Oh, did my video cut out there? Let's see. Hopefully I'll be back in a moment. Hopefully I'll be back. Hey, Wendy. How you doing? Now, folks, let me know if you can't see me anymore, because I can't see myself at the moment, so I don't know where things are at. Oh, technology. Hey, Dan. Oh, welcome, Dan. I was just saying I've come back from a class with Durham College Fine Arts, the community collaboration class, and I'm so excited. Now that students are back in school, I'm just inspired by all the possibilities that are out there for collaborating with the colleges and the universities, and more importantly, students. What amazing energy, what fantastic, it's just fantastic. But I do need to calm down a little bit. So, oh, well, Shelley, I'm glad you're back. And as much as I'm sad that you missed hanging out with us for a little while there, and that we were on break for a little while too, I'm glad you're back, and we missed you too. It's so great to see everyone come together virtually in this way. And yeah, just nice to be here. Nice to be here this Wednesday. And I want to know how everyone's doing. If there are any creative projects you're working on that you'd like to share or post pictures of, please feel free. As always, this is a safe virtual space, just like the studio. So we ask you to enter into this time being supportive and encouraging of one another, negotiating that consent, and of course being supportive and kind to one another also includes being supportive and kind to yourself. So if that inner critic is giving you trouble today, just let me know. I'll talk to it. We can all talk to it, and we can figure out what's going on. If it has nothing constructive to say, we will delete it. Or something like that. I'll crunch it up and I'll throw it out the window. Oh, I'm glad you're feeling okay, but it's been a rough few weeks for you, huh, Shelley? Yeah, I think you're not alone there. Again, seasonal transitions, so many things happening. Hello, Amanda. Good to see you. Welcome. Welcome back. How the heck are you doing? Just saying there's so many transitions that this time of year brings, and of course, in the best of times, that can be a little stressful, but I think this year it's especially stressful for a lot of people out there. There's a lot of questions in the air. There's a lot of things we're trying to do. We're just doing the best. We're doing the best with what we have. And so anyone out there who's feeling that, who's feeling the stress, who might be feeling, who knows, maybe you're not even sure what you're feeling, but you're doing the best with what you have, and that's good. Keep on keeping on. And health issues, and there's so many things that each one of us deals with. So again, entering into this space, I'm going to invite you to just use this time for what you need to do. Take care of yourself, right? You're the boss of you. You know what works for you, what's important for you to do today. If I'm working on something and you don't feel like working on that, you can do something else. If you just feel like having us on in the background while you fold laundry or, I don't know, look out a window, that's okay too. Let's just be together in this space of creative connection and see how we can be of service and support to one another. And if you'd like to participate in the chat and reach out to connect with other community members, that is fantastic. I can only see the people who are participating if they are a part of the chat. I'm not sure why that is from where I'm at, but if you're there and I'm not saying hello to you, please know that you're welcome. I'm saying hello to you right now. And you don't have to participate in the chat as well. If you feel like you just need to be in your own space with us there as a kind of extra voice, keeping you company in that way, that's okay. That's okay. Do what feels right to you today. And again, that safe space piece, we ask that people are here respectfully, that we negotiate consent. If folks have been using or drinking, we're going to ask you to come back to the stream on another day when you haven't been. There's no judgment. We just need to know that we can communicate with everyone effectively. And there are folks who use the studio space and the virtual space as well for harm reduction, and just to take those opportunities to take a break from whatever it is they might have to deal with in other parts of their lives. So everyone, you know, we rarely have issues with that in the studio or in the virtual studio. People are so supportive of one another, and that's something I am extraordinarily grateful for. We have an amazing creative community. Amazing. So thank you. And the last thing, but not the least thing, if anything happens during this live stream in the virtual studio that it makes you feel weird or uncomfortable, just, you know, pushes your edges, let me know, right? If there's something I can do to make this experience more supportive, more just nice, more delicious for everyone, let me know. And I always enjoy learning about how I can be a better human. So keep me accountable. If something else is happening that I may not be catching or picking up on, you can also let me know as well. If you don't feel like speaking up during the stream, please message me or email me to let me know so that we can have those conversations and create a more supportive community for everyone who wants to participate here. And I'm seeing with Shelley, Shelley's been drawing so much. Wow, that's a thing to celebrate. Fantastic. If you feel like sharing those drawings, feel free. Just saying, feel free. It's always nice to catch up on what people have been working on. And as you're folding laundry. Is this an art? Yes. Folding laundry is definitely an art. I'd say, you know, you can get as creative as you want with it, right? It depends, you know, on each one of us has their very own folding style. Mine is kind of just smushing it into the drawers once it's clean. Some days, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm lucky if it even gets to that point. Sometimes it's enough to just have a pile of clean clothes. Sometimes that's enough for me. I'm not ashamed. Things are intense, right? I choose my battles, and sometimes the laundry doesn't make it into the drawers. So good on ya. Fold that laundry. If you'd like to share photos of your folded laundry and how you choose to fold it in whatever creative way you choose, we'd be open to that too. Yeah, doing laundry. What if other people have let me know that they listen and they organize their shelves? Some people cook or make meals for themselves to save. There's all sorts of things you can do. Gardening, and all of it is creative. It requires a certain element of creative humaning, right? To get through and to feel good about your day. And that's what this is about. It's about doing what you can to feel good, to feel better, whatever we can do to help you to that next point in your day. Yeah. And whenever you watch this as well, to folks who might be listening or watching to the live stream, that's fantastic. Thanks for being here. If you listen to it later on, once it's been archived, you're welcome at that point as well. Just know that I won't be able to catch up with all your comments as you share them. But yeah, you're welcome here. Okay. And if anyone else is out there folding laundry, maybe, yeah, sure, feel free. Let's share our laundry, our creative laundering. Is that something? Creative laundering. Maybe we've just created something new. There are a lot of fantastic fiber artists out there who have done amazing things with clothing and repurposed, recycled clothing. I'm thinking of an artist who made a beautiful statement actually about all the environmental energy that goes into creating the clothing that we sometimes so easily dispose of. Oh, if anyone can remembers who that artist is and wants to share a link to their work, please feel free. Okay, so what am I going to do now? What am I going to do now? I think, let's get to making some art. Sometimes I forget that I'm not just here to chat with you. It's actually some time for me to make art as well. So let's do that. I think starting out today, I need to scribble a little bit. So I've got my oil pastels out. Scribbling time and just feel good. I'm just going to choose a couple of colors. I'm going to get to it. And again, this isn't about making something pretty. This is really just about letting something out and seeing what happens. Making a mark on a page. Oh, this is... I don't know if folks can see. You might be able to see from one of the cameras. You can see under... I used this paper. This was underneath the spiral I did last week. So the imprint of that spiral where the pen sort of dug into the paper is actually showing up in this art. Something to get me physical, get me out of my head a little bit into this creative process, filling the page with color, with lines, shapes, revisiting something that I think I did at the very near the start of these virtual streams. There's a lot of interesting conversation around that. What was that? That was an exercise where we were creating a visual vocabulary for our emotions. Yes. So folding up a page, dividing it up into sections, and sort of setting an intention for ourselves to externalize some kind of emotion through line, shape, color. And not that our visual vocabulary is set. The color red won't always mean the same thing. That's okay. But for today, yeah, I'm not even sure what emotion this is today. I'm going to let it out and then I'll have a look at it after and consider. But I love working with oil pastels because they can handle a little more force. And if they break while I'm using them, well, I had one of my teachers in my art therapy training would always say, well, now you have one for each hand. But I find this kind of work helps me get me back into my body. It also helps let things out. It's kind of like a visual splat on the page. What next? Maybe I'll use my left hand for these. I don't know if folks had a chance to tune into the Instagram chat we did yesterday. We talked to an artist named Celeste Humphrey, who was just a lovely human being. But there's been some interesting things that came out of our conversation that I've really been contemplating. At one point, I think I blurted out, who says your art needs to be good? I think that happened yesterday. And I've been trying to think about, well, okay, what do I mean by that exactly? Because I think I mean it. I think I know what it means. I understand on some level. But when I try to deconstruct it, to see what else is underneath that comment, I'm not sure. I just know that it's true. I think it emerged out of the sense of pressure of relating to an audience, of serving an audience, of keeping people engaged, which can be a very difficult thing to do at the best of times. But I think in a world of social media, it also puts additional pressures on creatives, when, especially during a pandemic, when social media might be the only way you have of connecting with people. Oh, I know what's happening. There we go. Bye-bye, wrapper. And what are the pressures we put upon ourselves to be good or perfect? What's the difference between doing good work and being afraid of not doing good work? Those are kind of the things that have been in my head. So if anyone has any thoughts about that, please let me know. Remember to breathe, Mary. The community collaboration class was so energizing. Now I need to come back down a little bit. So Shelley's been drawing as she was folding laundry. What else are folks working on out there? Feel free to let me know. It's an interesting conversation to have with ourselves about what we expect. What expectations do we place upon ourselves? And do those expectations get in the way of what we actually, of just doing the thing? How do we find balance? we were also talking about art and darkness, which is an interesting subject. This was in relation to visual art in particular, and the content, the subject, the themes. How people respond to art that appears dark or heavy or complicated. It's one of the things I love about creating, that the art can hold the heavy stuff. The art can hold the hard stuff. And Wendy, so I was painting my living room, now I am coloring. Lovely. That's a nice transition, that. The students in the community collaboration class, that's actually one of the projects, one of the assignments they've been given, to create coloring pages for the community through the living room. And we've asked them to get personal, to make these pages on themes, subjects, issues that are important to them. So I'm really excited to see what they contribute and what they create, given the opportunity. Might not all be intense or super heavy. I think it's important to remember that important stuff is also fun, light, the stuff that brings us relief, that gets us through the day. And Shelley, you've been organizing your craft area. Excellent. Oh, so a friend gave you lots of craft materials. That's amazing. That is amazing. I feel like this time of year, I have this impulse to kind of start collecting materials again, like squirrels, like collecting everything for the winter. And we might be sharing things. I know if folks receive our newsletter, I mentioned that we're trying to figure out how to do a safe yard sale kind of idea, like a touch it, you take it kind of experience, or something. It's really complicated. I don't know. I'm not quite sure how to do it safely, so we might try something virtual. We might try a kind of a garage sale, yard sale. I think someone on one of these live streams might have even suggested it in the past. Maybe it was Nikki, about kind of showing, okay, we have this. Does anyone want it? That might be a way to do it. Hello, Daryl. Welcome to the Hive. Welcome today. How are you doing? Just asking people if you're working on things that you'd like to share with us, please do. You can tell us what you're working on. You can share pictures of what you're working on. Or you can just hang out and listen, watch, enjoy, do what feels right for you. And Shelley's saying, would love to help somewhere where people create art. I'm not educated in art, but would love to help children work in art. Well, that's part of your background, isn't it? So that makes sense. Yeah, I'm not sure what's out there, but keep investigating that. I'm sure there are some organizations that have the capacity to connect in person with people, to create, to do that kind of work. And I imagine they're looking for people to assist or volunteer in that, depending on what you want to do, what you feel comfortable with. And who says you need to, this is also an interesting conversation. So that idea about you're only an artist if, I see a little bit of your inner critic speaking up there. Oh, Daryl's working on a guitar project. Fantastic. Oh, so let's see, I wonder. Is there a way to share music through these streams, to share a link to some music you've been working on? If that's the case, if you have been, feel free to put a link in there if you're comfortable with that. That conversation about you're not an artist if you haven't gone to school to become an artist. That's one of the reasons why the living room exists, challenging those views, those ideas of who is creative. What is the value of their creative contribution or the creative work that they create? And also links back to that idea of who says your art has to be good. First of all, who knows what good art is? And I think every person out there reconnecting with your creativity or expressing yourself, whatever it is you're doing through creativity, to make your mark, to make yourself heard, It's about doing the thing. Perhaps we don't need to worry about how it is perceived as much as we do, or how much it's accepted or applauded. It's one of the things I always think about. If anyone's ever been to one of our secret art sales out there, those were some fundraisers we did for the first 5 or 6 years of the studio being around, where we'd invite artists from all over to contribute work that would then be auctioned off, and all the art was auctioned off at the same price. So it had this really interesting effect of forcing people to just purchase what they loved, not necessarily what they thought was of value. Oh, there's some fantastic murals downtown. Daryl, which mural are you talking about? Public art is another important thing during this time, isn't it? Art that everyone can appreciate. The gallery is open though, so folks, and a lot of galleries across the country have opened again. They found a way to continue connecting with people in a safe and manageable way. So don't forget that you can visit your local art gallery. The hours may be changed. There may be certain restrictions about what you do or what they're offering. But at least here in Oshawa, the RMG is doing some amazing programming with people. Such a fantastic resource. And a lovely building. That's one thing, art galleries are just lovely to go in. And let's see, so Daryl, the mural. Oh, you're talking about the mural on the corner of King, North, and Simcoe. Hey, B, welcome! Let me see if I can picture that mural in my mind. King, North, and Simcoe. Yeah, Oshawa is a mural city. For those folks who may not realize, there are a lot of murals in this downtown area. For such a reasonably small downtown, it's loaded with public art. Now, not all of the art, I think, is necessarily... Let's say there's a lot of historical art. A lot of art celebrating a lot of white people. A lot of white men. Not necessarily a bad thing, but I am looking forward to seeing some exciting new art coming their way. And I know the culture counts in Oshawa, the arts people are doing so many amazing things to find ways of introducing new artists, new voices, new subjects for those murals. Super excited. And the painted fire hydrants, I miss those too. I know there are other towns out there that do that. Just gonna have some coffee. Hold on for a moment. Not like I need to be fueled up. I think I'm already fueled up enough. I'm cut off after this one. Okay, folks? Yum. The painted fire hydrant thing was just a pleasure. Such a sweet and fun thing to do. But I think the region had to step in at one point because it was becoming difficult for the hydrants to be accessed depending on how many layers of paint they had on them. So I don't think that's a practice that is still happening, unfortunately. But who knows? We might see it reemerge. And you can always get in contact with your local municipality to see what public arts programming is happening and how you might be able to get involved. Because that's the thing people forget too. That it's not, the cities that we live in are always looking for ways to engage community in these practices, to find out what's relevant. Sometimes it's not advertised as much as it maybe could be. Sometimes you might miss it. But let's see. B's helping out with the mural spotting. So B's saying it's the one on the boards covering those buildings on the corner. Where the corner store used to be, right? Maybe, yeah. Oh, I'm glad you enjoy the live streams, Daryl. That means a lot. I enjoy them just as much as anybody else does. And I want to revisit and just take a look because I know Shelley had commented early as well. So Shelley's talking. So Shelley's saying you have a great setup. I would love to start one in Bowmanville. My dream would do the same setup in Bowmanville. So we're talking about creating an actual art hive space or a virtual art hive. You could do both if you wanted to. I think there are so many opportunities. And for anyone out there who might be considering, you might want to start something like this, an actual physical space. You might want to start a virtual gathering space. It all starts from the same place. Taking time to dream and to actually envision what it is you want. Walk yourself through those steps about what it might look like, what it might feel like to do the thing you want to do as often as you want to do it. Start with that. What do we call that? We call that positive visualization. Yeah? Start moving in that direction. Give yourself permission to envision that as specifically as you like. It's what I did with the living room. And actually, Eshu, who's here, helped me in that process, helped me in that visualization process, and was remarkably encouraging. Yeah, because sometimes you don't know. You don't know until you do the thing, right? You just got to find a way to do it. In the Art Hive movement, there's the phrase, dream big, but start small. And it's not because everything should be small. I think it's just that we can always build and expand upon what's small. And the way the living room started, that's what we did. We started by doing little pop-ups in neighborhoods. All you need, or all we needed, now it's a little different because of pandemic, but you can start with a picnic blanket in a park with some crayons. You can connect with a local agency or organization that you trust and believe in, and share the idea with them and say, this is what I want to do. What do you think? Could this be of service to you? Could this be of support to you and the people you work with? What's the worst that can happen? They can say no, right? And that gives you information to help you shape things in a different way that might be more appealing to the people you want to work with. And let's see, B. B would like to see more interesting stories told in the murals in Oshawa and Durham region. Not just the cars and white dudes that seem to be covering most of the spots downtown, like that one on the Go Bus terminal. Yes, the old Go Bus terminal now. Is it still in use? Oshawa's changing so much, like so many cities. I agree, B. I can't say I disagree. Yeah, dream, and I'm glad. The dream big, start small, generally good advice. I think so. It all starts with the dreaming, though. You know, imagining first. Everything starts with a thought and then becomes something different. Not always the reality that you expected when you first started dreaming. The living room project right now especially looks very different than what I first imagined it would look like 7 years ago when we started. But I think one of the things I remember and I hold on to throughout all the difficult periods and this very interesting time we find ourselves in now, I love that because I was a bit selfish, because I took time to imagine, oh, whoa. So here we go. As you went to Alert Bay last week, you missed a cultural center. It was amazing. Transformation masks are a thing of beauty. Transformation masks. Can you put up a link to that for us? I would love, if there's a way can we visit it virtually to see what they're offering? That sounds amazing. Transformation masks. Oh, I want to learn more about that. I want to learn more. And if you are out there on the West Coast, may I send out a little, I know that you folks are being impacted by residual forest fire stuff. And if anyone's listening or watching from the States, if you're out there being impacted by that right now, my heart goes out to you. Hang in there, please. I don't know what to say, really. Just thinking of you. Hoping for the best. I have friends out on an island in BC. Gabriel Island is the island they live on, they call home. They were saying the skies were yellow. Oh, fantastic. Thank you, Eshu. There's a link for everyone in the chat, if you'd like to check in on this exhibit that he was mentioning, youmista.ca, Cultural Society. It's in the Facebook live stream chat. So just check in on that and you can see. Brilliant. And you know what? Let's share other things. If folks have been out and about, or if you visited something really interesting, a virtual exhibit maybe, virtual museum tour, whatever it might be, share it. Why not? Or if there's maybe a really cool live stream to like a concert that you attended. I feel like at the beginning we were so busy sharing links and posts with one another about things we could do to help us, to keep us connected or creatively engaged, or just, something to enjoy in our downtime. I feel like that's tapered off a little bit right now. So, hey, if there's something you've done, someplace you've visited that has a virtual link that can be shared with everyone, let's share it. Let's create those opportunities for people to explore and appreciate and maybe even support, if you can, those local or global arts initiatives that are making life interesting for us right now. And who knows, maybe the transformation masks are something that I'm looking at those. Holy. Wow. Okay. So much there. I can't wait to dive into that later. Thank you so much for sharing. And Shelley is saying, oh, back to the Art Hive, I think, the Art Hive ideas. There's such a need because of the mental health issues, yeah, and Bethesda House Shelter, and even all the people allowing freedom to access for like stress relief, helping with mental health. And Bowmanville hasn't got much in the way of groups by the sounds of it. Shelley, is that what you're saying? Yeah, it's especially right now when things are more restrictive, then a lot of the supports, the access is limited due to the pandemic, and people are trying to figure out what to do. Bowmanville's a really interesting place. I love it there. And I know there are a lot of living room peeps who live out that way. You might not be alone in that. It wouldn't surprise me if even, who knows, being in this chat and saying that out loud, getting that idea out there. If anyone else is watching or listening and you're in the Bowmanville area and you're interested in maybe pursuing some of the same thing, creating a hive, a virtual hive, connect with Shelley. Perhaps send her a Facebook message and maybe that beautiful, lovely thing can start bubbling away, right? We have a little bit of time to dream about it and to figure it out. So go for it. And be saying, gee, some days I feel like all my time is downtime, both underutilized and emotionally down. Oi. I share that oi with you. Oi. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. I think for myself at least, even though it's a really strange thing. And let me know if other folks can relate to this. But, and it's not the first time I've mentioned it, right? The sense of working 3 times as hard, but getting half as much done. Feeling like there's just time has shifted. All I do, there's a weightiness to a lot of things. Not necessarily weight as in feeling down, not like that, but it feels sometimes a lot of things that used to feel speedy feel heavy now, and I feel that sluggishness. I also feel like there's some days where I'm just, because I've had more time to be with myself, I'm just more aware of what I'm feeling. So those emotionally down times, just my body says stop. It says pay attention. And I'm there and I'm more receptive to it than I was before because I've rebuilt that connection, right? Ooh, lovely. So let's see. As she's saying, in Alert Bay, there was a notice on a board that said there were local elders that were available 8 hours a day for cedar brushing and smudging. I thought that was a beautiful offering. I think that's a beautiful offering as well. Oh, wow. I'm wondering if some of the centers here are offering that same thing. We have an enormous indigenous population in Oshawa. Not sure about where, other folks where you live. But in Oshawa, the name itself, Oshawa, it's an indigenous name. The studio sits on the carrying place. So we are guests on indigenous land right now, right here. And I feel like that's one of the things we can all do too, is learn how we can be of better service to our indigenous community members so that maybe resources like that, if they're not on offer right now, we can be a part of making sure that they can be offered in the future. Leveraging, what voices we have, what privilege or power we have to make sure that those traditions, those opportunities are there. Because if they're there for Indigenous community members, they'll also be there for us and for anyone in the future. So let's work on that. But I'm going to investigate that as well. And if anyone else out there who's maybe listening, if you're aware of any resources of that nature in Durham region, if you want to share a link here, please do. Well, heck, if you're anywhere and you have resources like that, you're aware resources that people could really make use of, this is also a great place to share links to those things as well. Because again, we're tuning in from all over, and that is a beautiful thing. So let's share all the resources, all the things, please. And Shelley saying, gotta go, gotta get ready for doctor's phone call. Oh, talk later. Love this group. Oh, we love you too. I love this group very much. Shelley, have a wonderful day. Take care of yourself. And if you feel like it later, share some of the work you've been doing. Those drawings, I'd love to see them. I'm sure other people would too. Take care, Shelley. And the emotional. The downtime is interesting. Again, that was another theme, the downtime and the emotional down. The feeling underutilized, but also constantly activated in a strange way, just a little bit. These are intense times. I say that, and if I sound like a broken record, please forgive me. I just feel like it's important to remind one another of that sometimes, because if we get back on that track of moving forward, we can get caught up and caught unawares with sudden reminders that this is not business as usual, and we need to take care of ourselves now more than ever. And if we have extra to take care of other people, then that is a beautiful thing as well. But it starts with us and making sure that we're okay. And that's one of the conversations in the live stream with Celeste Humphrey that came up yesterday as well, this sense of, again, art and darkness. But in our initial conversation, and I'm sure they wouldn't mind me saying this, I think sometimes when people think about the living room, they think rainbows and puppy dogs and happy, happy, happy all the time, and art is all about being happy. I mean, it can be, absolutely. And I always walk away from any kind of creative self-expression feeling so much better, so much lighter. But again, like, it's remembering that you don't have to have all the answers to things. Part of this process of creation is discovery and making space for those discoveries to emerge. And if art is one of the ways you do that, that's fantastic. But I think the best we can do is just doing the best we can do. Well, that's profound. Those expectations. So near the beginning, we were talking about the expectations we place upon ourselves to do good, to be good, when good enough is good enough. And that will be different for every single person at whatever stage you're at, whatever place you're at, whatever age you're at. And as long as you're checking in with yourself along the way, letting yourself feel what you need to feel, reaching out for those supports when you need them, when they're there, that's good. That is good. Yeah, Celeste, when I asked them if they had any kind of, sometimes with the Instagram live stream chats with the artists, one of the questions I love asking them is just how they're doing what they do, how they get through, how they cope with this strangeness, with whatever strangeness might have been there to begin with, because artists are pretty, well, I'm biased, but I think we're pretty amazing. I think we're resilient. I think we're creative. We tend to think outside the box. We don't give up easily. We continue. We try to, we're always looking for the thing, whatever that thing might be. Hey, Gilbert! Gilbert, so great to see you. Oh, so Gilbert, oh, that's lovely. You just, oh, my heart. Former student. So folks remember Gilbert. Gilbert introduced that fantastic, the beautiful color of your day activity, which I do quite a bit, Gilbert. I'm doing it on my own for myself. Thank you for that. That was such a beautiful gift. Gilbert says, still feel like I'm a student because there's so much to learn just being here. Ah, well, we teach one another. I think that's one thing I learn every week, every time I do this. I learn so much. And I'm comforted by the fact that I'm not alone in the struggles that I'm facing. I'm not alone in the things I celebrate and get joy from. None of us are alone, even though we may not have many people around us. There are so many opportunities to reach out for that support. And even just being able to say things out loud or type things out loud about what you're dealing with. Like, when I talk to Celeste, yes, that's it. So when and Gilbert, I want to know how you're doing and what you're creating. If you want to share stuff that you've been working on, or maybe, no pressure. Maybe you haven't been working on anything. That's okay. Just happy to have you here. And for anyone else who might be joining in right now, welcome to the live stream art studio. If you're watching once it's done and it's been archived, you're still welcome. I'm happy to have you here. But please feel free to share in the chat if you have ideas or creative things you've been working on, links to fantastic resources, creative or otherwise cultural, things that other people in the chat might benefit from knowing about. This is a place where we can connect or just hang back and observe. And you never know when that one thing might pop up that introduces a positive spark to your day or helps you see something a new way or just know you're not alone. So thank you to everyone who does share in the chat, but don't feel pressured to. Just happy to have you here. And Gilbert, it's good to have you here. But yes, so I was talking to her in the pre-interview, and And I think there's a pressure for artists when they come on the live stream to feel like they do have wonderful, profound things to say about wellness or how they're using art to, make their lives better or move their careers forward. And the truth is, every artist I talk to, regardless of what kind of form of creative expression they use, what modality they use, no one has any answers. None of us. There are no magic wand solutions out there. It's really, having faith in yourself, loving yourself enough, even during the really difficult times, to remind you that you're worth moving forward. You're worth it. You are here, and I am so happy that you're here. There's only one of you in the world, so even on those very, very difficult, dark days, remember that your voice is needed. You're the only one with that voice, and that is what makes you an artist, not technique. It's you, and we don't want to rob the world of that. But there's no answers. I wish there was. I think there are things we can do. We can pay attention to ourselves. We can love ourselves. And love is also one of those rainbow and puppy dog words. So I don't mean like love myself, like I'm, like not like Instagram famous loving yourself, like influencer stuff. No, we're not talking about that. We're talking about the hard work of like, oh my God, today I'm kind of wishing I was someone else, not liking this thing that's going on, but it's going on. It's alive. I'm alive. I'm here. I'm going to be here. This is interesting. Tomorrow I will be able to look at it a little bit differently. That's what I mean, I guess, more when I'm talking about love. Like loving yourself enough to do the hard work, to get through the hard times. Because one day you will be able to make meaning of this in a way that maybe helps you laugh, maybe helps you tell that story in that special way for someone else. I don't think I know of any artists who create from a place of pure, I don't know any human who's never ever experienced anything dark or difficult. I haven't met that person yet. I'd like to if they're out there. I think I don't know if I'd believe them if I did. They might be trying to sell me something. But again, a familiar conversation. But I think one that's worth revisiting. We're worth it. We're worth the hard work. Today, right now, the hard work might look like sitting here listening to me ramble. The hard work might be taking a break and making some art before you go back to class, or before you go back to work, or before you decide to make your bed, or fold your laundry, or make yourself a cup of hot chocolate, or go for a walk outside. All of this creative humaning stuff, right? We figure it out as we go. And B says, there's a time and a place for that sort of mindless positivity, ? But personally, I don't have a lot of time for it. Yeah, self-care is more than bubble baths and pictures of sunsets. I agree. Hey, Wendy, welcome. Oh, Wendy, welcome. Oh, and seeing Wendy has reminded me of something. So I will, Wendy, let me know if I can still share that the wonderful project you're doing. But yeah, the sunset and bubble baths things, you're right, it has a place. But I think more often than not, self-love is like any relationship you have with any person. Or creature. It's work. And the rewards, when they do come, they tend to be much more valuable than the instant pleasures you might get from those simpler things. And there's nothing wrong with the simple pleasures. Not at all. But I think the reward of knowing yourself and feeling yourself and knowing that you're an extraordinary being, which includes the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful, the soft, the sharp, the grumpy, the exuberant, all of those things are a part of who each one of us are. You know what I'm talking about. Like, that's it right there. That's it. And Wendy, yes, okay, so if you are in the Oshawa area, and please feel free to share this as well, I'll post a link to this, I think, or at least maybe Wendy, let me know if I can share a contact so people can connect with you. Wendy's doing this really lovely thing and working with some seniors' homes, or maybe one seniors' home in the area, is providing virtual arts experiences for them. So Wendy is an extraordinary violinist. Austin! Oh, Austin! So great to see you, Austin. What's up and what have you missed? You know, just the ordinary living room stuff. Talking about the profound nature of being human, kind of existential crisis stuff, but also the rewards in being so fully alive that you can feel the good and the bad and move forward with knowing that this is your story and you're the only one who can tell it. So that is awesome. Awesome. It's an awesome and excruciating thing at the same time. We're talking about traditions and cultural traditions. Oh my goodness. You can go through the chat and see there's been some interesting links that have been shared. But Austin, let me know what you've been working on. I'd love to catch up on what kind of creative work you've been doing. Austin's always working on something amazing. Amazing. And I miss, yeah. Oh, I miss seeing you at the studio. I miss seeing everyone at the studio. Let's see, back to Wendy. So Wendy is a remarkably, one of the things that Wendy is a remarkable, thank you, that's amazing, a gifted violinist. So I believe this is where this started. You started doing performances for these community members, being, virtually in their space, and now you've created a kind of calendar of events, and you're looking for other people to share creative works through this way. So short, like 15 minutes, maybe. Was that 15 minutes, 20 minutes, maybe? You can sign up on that link that Wendy shared. We're looking for anything. If you're musical, I think I might approach about reading some poetry just because. Who knows? Who knows what will be appealing? Connect with Wendy if you're interested in participating, and sign up for a time slot just to connect and share what you do and what you love with folks. That's an awesome thing. Thanks so much, Wendy, for reminding me. Yeah, 6 years ago, Wendy, was the last time I heard you playing the violin. And Lindsay Beth, now, and this must be on the life thing. This is, Lindsay says, with regards to describing that humaning thing that we all have to do, it's one of those horribly wonderful things. Yeah. But I can't imagine it any other way. And as long as we can reach out for those things, those supports, those people, those moments when we need them. And some days it might look like bubble baths. Other days it might look like staying in bed, right? There are things we need to do to take care of ourselves. And there shouldn't be judgment around what we need to do to take care of ourselves. But staying in check with yourself and dialogue with yourself, so you know that if the thing you're doing is actually helping, or helping, at least helping you reach for relief, getting to the next space in a healthy way as well. That's an important conversation to have. Yeah, definitely. If anyone else has things they'd like to share, Lindsay, if you have ideas, or not necessarily advice, but I think there's power in being able to acknowledge the humanness and how we're not alone in whatever this interesting struggle is that we're dealing with. Each one of our struggles might look different, might feel different, taste different, smell different. But we're together in it. We're here. So let's make the most of it, I guess. And Wendy's saying, love listening to me talk. Well, thank you. I love knowing that you're out there and doing your thing. Yes, so Wendy's saying, sign up, music, singing, poetry. There are lots of ways you can contribute to that initiative that Wendy has going on. Check out that link, and let's see what we can do. It's another way of expressing ourselves and being there, showing up for other people. And sometimes showing up for other people in that way can help move ourselves out of ourselves when we need it. You never know what might be the thing that helps shift you from one place to another. Tiny shifts matter too. I think that's been an important thing for me to remember. Tiny shifts matter. It's not always the big moments of feeling extraordinary. It's sometimes I'm feeling a little less crappy than I was 5 minutes ago. And B saying, contemplating creating a zine. Yes, please. Yes, please. Yes, please. Zine making is one of my favorite things to do. I have a million zines that I've started making and have yet to finish. I have this one here still. I know this isn't exactly, it could be a zine. What am I doing here? Yeah, I love this. I've been using it for poetry and like clip art, cutout poetry. I started this with you folks, so thank you for that. Without you, I don't know if I would have created this. So one day I'll fill it up with stuff. And Gilbert saying hi to Austin. Oh, nice sharing of materials. So Gilbert, shout out to Austin. Gilbert bought himself one of those mono erasers you have. I'm trying to remember if do I remember what that is? What's a mono eraser, folks? Is it one of those? I should know that, shouldn't I? And it's weird. I'm kind of like, I'm just going to center myself here in this little window. Let's see if I move this way, am I moving out? I'm going to do that. Let's see. Am I? I'll have to watch. What if I do this? Thanks for being patient with me, folks. Let's see. Okay, yeah, that works. Okay, so B with the zine. It'll be called B and the Art of Life in the Darkness. Yes, yes, please. Yes. I think the world might need that zine. I think I need that zine. Yeah, and I think I have to check in with you, but I know our Instagram artist chat had to be canceled because of my body saying no the day I had the migraine. But I'd love to catch up with you again. So I'll reach out and connect about rescheduling that, if that's okay. Yeah. Anyone else out there who's created their own zine? I'd love to learn more about what people do in zine culture. We're really lucky in Ontario, we have a really vibrant zine scene. There's a Toronto Zine Library. There's lots of opportunities for people to share their work and archive it for future generations or for other artists out there. I wonder what's happening with the pandemic, if there's a virtual share that's going on. Hey, Shelley, welcome back. Oh, nice. The conversation about the eraser with Austin and, oh, excellent. Yeah, that's the one thing I really love about zines. B was just saying the world probably does, I think, referring to need your zine, and you definitely do. And absolutely. I think zines are such a remarkable, I love the DIY nature, of course, with its emergence out of punk culture and that do-it-yourself, the real do-it-yourself culture, not just the, paint a stool and make it nice culture, but this sense of how can we make an impact on the world? How can we share information? How can we educate one another, make our voice heard in a world where publishing rights are held by, well, don't always have money to, I guess, I'm getting all tongue-tied. Let me have some coffee and I'll sort this thought out in my head. Yes. Okay. DIY publishing. There are ways now. There are so many ways to get our words out, to connect with people, to share how we see the world, to raise awareness about things, there's so many ways, because you can do it on Tumblr, you can have a vlog, you can, whatever it might be. Digitally, there are so many ways. But there's something about an actual zine, like a paper, something that's been created by hand, whether it's, cutting and pasting from a printed sheet or writing things out by hand. I know Bee's amazing with the hand lettering, so this zine will probably look pretty freaking awesome. But whatever it is, there's something about that tactile, like having the thing in my hands, knowing that it's been photocopied, and there's kind of a history to this object, which digitally you don't always feel in the same way. Like, I know there's a history to these that we post. You can track them online. They're all there. But the history of an object, there's something so beautiful about that and the energy it holds. Now, that's getting artsy-fartsy. But knowing that, for example, if I mailed this zine, just saying I might buy one, if I mailed this zine and I open it up, I know that it has been in your hands. It's been a part of your life. There's been a process, a creative process that's gone into it. The same as any work of art. Yes? There's something really beautiful about that. It connects with us in a different way than something virtual. So, let's figure it out. Yes. Oh, I'm glad you're interested into having the chat be excellent. I'll text you after. And Shelley, welcome back, and I'm glad the tests came back good. Thank you for sharing that. That's good to know. I know doctor's appointments and things like that must be so interesting in this day and age. Not as simple or straightforward as it used to be. I'm glad that everything came back okay. And B, with the zine, planning a combo of, oh nice, hand lettering and collage. My favorite. Love it. And I know for those folks out there who know Samantha Willette, I think Sam has been, they're not on Facebook, but they've been zine making until the cows come home. So I wonder if we can organize a snail mail zine exchange, perhaps, when the time's right. Interesting. Interesting. And maybe, who knows, maybe we can have a workshop about that. We can try a Facebook room zine making workshop hangout where we create together. Yeah. There's something about that punk ethos that is coming back in a big, big way. And I do not mind it. It has a new face now. It's dressed a little differently. But that the urgency of connecting, of creating, of making change. It's a little more sophisticated now than perhaps it was. There's a lot more. No, I'm not going to say that. I was going to say there's more substance, but that's baloney. That's just baloney. Yeah, I've switched to watercolor. I felt like after I was going to say hardcore oil pastels. I can't call that hardcore, but it was nice to let it out. I feel like something lighter. And I just want to do a little watercolor doodling again with a little bit of a frame. And I might explore, usually when I do these, I use really bright colors. But on the theme of darkness, I think I want to explore using some of the darker colors and see where it takes me. I don't often do that. Sandra! Welcome, Sandra. So good to see you. How are you feeling? I'm glad you're here. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And I know you've been crocheting and knitting up a storm. If you have anything you want to share, just feel free to snap a photo and load it up here. And to anyone else, thank you, BB. Such a great reminder for me. Anyone else who might be joining us right now, thank you. You're welcome here. And if you're joining once the stream's been archived, you're still welcome. Just know that if you leave a comment for me, I might not see it. I have to circle back and check in on the comments that have been left after the stream has ended. But please, thank you for sharing, and please feel free to contribute, share. And for those folks who are tuning in but not participating in the chat, that's totally cool too. Just know that I'm saying hi, and I'm so happy that you're here. Although I might not be able to say hello to you personally because I can't see the people who are watching. I can only see the people who are participating in the chat. But that's okay. You do you. You don't need to chat with me. It's fine. I'm not the boss of you. And Sandra's feeling better. That's good. That is good. I think finding ways to, we were talking about self-care and that idea of self-love and what it looks like during difficult times. I think we're challenged. Maybe we've not been challenged, but maybe there's an opportunity to explore what that means, what loving ourselves actually means, what it looks like, what it actually is on a day-to-day basis. And perhaps taking some of the shame or the stigma out of things that maybe once upon a time might have been looked at in a certain way or hopefully not judged. I'm really lucky, I guess, with Living Room people, everyone that I've connected with through this community. There's so much compassion here. There's so much curiosity, which is a really important factor, right? The curiosity, the willingness to learn about what it's like to be someone else, to be present in that journey so that we can be available or be a resource to one another if needed, when wanted. The pause it takes to learn rather than judge, just giving ourselves that moment, that window. So even when we have strong reactions to things, taking a breath and trying to, as John Green would say, shout out to John Green, imagine other people complexly. If we can do that for other people, maybe we can do that for ourselves as well. Because I think sometimes we don't necessarily do that. We don't necessarily take the time to imagine ourselves complexly, so we're so hard on ourselves, and that's where the inner critic really likes stepping in, right? Gets a good toehold in those moments. Toehold. Where does that phrase come from? If anyone knows, please feel free to share. You never know. Sometimes I use language and phrases and I don't know where it comes from. Got to track that stuff. Toehold. There's someone out there who wants to look that up. I know it. Maybe it doesn't even apply. Am I using it correctly? I don't even know. So let's do a little bit of this. Let's let the watercolor paint do what it wants to do. So I go from complete control with the oil pastels to surrendering a bit with the watercolor. And I'll just play with this and build up on it. Now comes a part of the live stream where I just start making noises. So yes to zines. There's wrapping that up. Hey, Carlos, welcome. I can't seem to log in as Carlos still, so I'm just going to go with it as it is. But you are Carlos. You are. So I'm just going to go, but spoiler alert, this is Carlos. Good to see y'all. And these topics of chat are really informative and insightful. Oh, wow. Thanks for sharing, folks. Yeah, thank you for everyone who's contributing to these conversations. I think it's really important that we have these conversations. And how can we learn to be there for one another? How can we learn what we're missing so that we can perhaps make change in our culture and make things available that weren't previously there? That's how things happen. And Anthony's saying, oh, toe hold, thank you, Anthony. The literal definition, support for the toe of a boot in climbing, dates from the late 19th century. So climbing. So then as I was using it, could that be that the inner critic has found a way to start climbing us? Just, ooh, I don't like that image so much. So I just feel like this little kind of goblin-y thing, just like, ugh. Yeah, no, I got to challenge that. No toe hold. No toe hold. But Carlos, yes. Yes, you are Carlos. You are here as Carlos. Welcome. Yes, for folks who are with us as lovely coordinators and volunteers who have access to the secret innards of the Living Room Facebook page. It's, Facebook can be very confusing sometimes. It's not always the friendliest of platforms. And sometimes it decides who it wants you to be. You might be the living room one day and you might be yourself the next. I don't think it's anything personal. I don't think it is anyways. Gosh, I hope not. That would be terrifying. But again, I'll reach out as new people are joining and watching. If there are things you're creating or working on that you'd like to share, please feel free to post a picture or link to things if you've experienced things out there in the community that are lovely to you. Anthony Granny, thank you for this. I was going to share this and he beat me to it. So Anthony says, I'll share some art I've been working on. Here's a documentary I made about music and dementia. Yes, it's premiering Monday, September 21st at 7 p.m. on YouTube for free. Here's a trailer to watch after watching Mary, of course. You know what? I won't take it personally. If you want to watch the trailer right now, feel free. You can always come back in the chat and let us know what you think as well. I have seen this film. It's an extraordinary film about people experiencing memory loss and the people who take care of them and the organizations that are there to support them. In this case, the Bitov Academy, which is this really fantastic organization who uses art. The concept behind what they do is I'll probably get this wrong, so if anyone from the Bid Dove is watching, feel free to add in and supplement. But they use the arts to work with people. They use the arts to engage with people. They use the arts to help people feel better. So, and to be themselves. So instead of treating the person like a clinical patient, like an illness, they focus on finding ways to connect with the human and to provide wellness through that creative self-expression and pure appreciation and an enjoyment of creative self-expression. And for anyone out there who has, who's familiar with that struggle, if you have anyone in your life who dances with memory loss or dementia or Alzheimer's, you're probably aware of how sometimes music specifically, as well as many other art forms, but music can really, it kind of activates certain parts of our brain in a positive way that can help bring us to life, that can help bring people to life. Now, Carlos, now it sounds like I'm having an identity issue. No, it's all good. As a side note, that goblin toehold sounds kind of cute. Ooh, in relation to the inner critic. Interesting. For me, sometimes sitting with that toehold can allow it to be noticed, acknowledged. Yeah. And to make the footing less. Let me read here. Less strong for the goblin next time. You're right, Carlos. As we can be aware of where it got that foothold last time. I think the term foothold in the UK. Yeah, maybe foothold instead of toehold. Maybe it's different here. I don't know. No, that makes sense. Foothold, I think, and toehold sounds like they have crossover, definitely. And you're right. Again, the inner critic isn't always, it's not purely a negative thing, right? That might sound strange for folks, especially if you struggle with those things a great deal. But yeah, what Carlos says is true for me in my own experience, thinking about that inner critic. There's generally a real reason for it being there. It's something constructive that it hopes to do. It may not always do it in the best way. It may not always do it in the healthiest way. But if we chat with it, if we try and dialogue with it to figure out what it wants, then we can learn something. And if, again, like we say, for people coming into the studio as part of the safe space spiel, if there's nothing constructive there to learn from, at least we can learn how to manage it better, to acknowledge what it wants, but to, talk back to it. Not right now, right? Not today, Satan. Yeah, that kind of thing, right? It doesn't have to run your life. It doesn't have to take over when you don't want it to. So having a relationship with that inner critic or the inner critics can be a really healthy and positive thing as well. Oh, yes, Sandra. So Sandra's noticing my hair. I did get a trim. I got a haircut. Thanks to the lovely folks at Wildvine here in Oshawa. They're lovely, lovely, lovely. One of those things, that creative humaning piece too, same as nail polish. I realized I'm not wearing any nail polish today, but I do love how we can change our appearance. Hair is one of those things that you can do to make a change when you're not feeling any change in any other parts of your life. So yeah, hair cut, many hairs cut. I haven't had hair this short in a very, very long time, but I'm enjoying it. Haven't told my agent yet though. Shh. But thank you, Sandra. Thank you for noticing. I think there's also a feeling. I had this sense of, well, I don't know when I'm going to have a chance for another haircut, so I might as well do it now. I was getting a little Rapunzel-like, and I always know when I start just putting it in a braid or tying it back. That's not a good sign. That's just me putting up with me. And I wanted to have a better relationship with myself, so haircut. It's a simple, nice way to do it. And their folks were so great. Hey, Kim. Why, thank you, Kim. The folks at Wildvine were amazing. Everything was so safe. I loved how they were, just really supportive. And I think it's such an intimate thing when you're having your hair cut. I'm not sure exactly why, but there's that sharing of space and kind of trusting someone with how you share yourself with the world. So they're always on it. They know me. They take my quirks and my anxieties seriously. They listen, and they were fantastic. So if anyone from Wildvine is watching, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for taking such good care of me. Yeah, time for a change. I wonder if anyone else out there has had big changes in a similar vein. You don't have to share. Just curious. But the creative humaning piece, it's become internal because I suppose we don't have as many opportunities to see one another. So how we play with our appearance, what we wear, all those little choices have become limited again to, just exposing ourselves or sharing ourselves with the people who are right near us. Oh, thank you. Now, this wasn't a call out. It wasn't me I wasn't seeking or reaching for compliments. I wasn't fishing, but thank you. Sorry. Thank you. Let's see here. Too many indeed. How have folks been playing with that? Like, I'm wondering that too. Like, I'm thinking of Austin, for example, who's out there listening and watching. Austin's, one of the things I love about Austin is how you have this curiosity, this freedom, and experimenting with how you look, and different personas creatively. I know that you explore different cultural kind of representations, like goth culture or things like that. Haven't had a chance to connect with people and see people and how they're sharing themselves with the world in that way. I'd love to have an update. And B, also, haircuts are coming for people. Lots of people. Okay, Shelley, yes. Oh, you cut your hair very short. Amazing. And B, I love having my hair done by someone else. Yes, indeed. It's very different to cutting my own. It's a lovely sort of intimacy. It is. It's a beautiful... If you're working with someone that you trust and you feel safe with, the same as anything else, it can be such... it's an extraordinary experience. Oddly. And Castle, that piece you're making there is beautiful, Carlos says. Some really interesting choice of colors and how they connect. Reminds me a bit of Earth Sea meets Mount Doom in the center. Whoa. I say that as a compliment, I promise. P.S. Loving the hair too. You know what? I will take all these lovely compliments and I will put them in my pocket and I will save them for that rainy day where I wake up and I'm feeling not my best self. So I will store them up. Thank you. And I like that Earth Sea meets Mount Doom. And Peter, hey, Peter, welcome. Peter says not able to stay for long, but I'm glad you're here. Just a couple of minutes for the next 6 weeks. Oh, lovely. I am doing exactly, okay, so let's see. Just a couple of minutes for the next six weeks, doing exactly the same time. Exactly, are you working or just going to be joining us around this time? You're welcome anytime you join. It's okay. I'm not the boss of you. If you want to come for a few minutes, dip in and out, visit for 5 minutes, then log off to do something else, that's entirely fine. You can show up or leave whenever you feel the need to. That's why I'm here. And Shelley, hair art, time. Oh, you're thinking about getting your hair. So time getting colored hair or cut. Hair art time. Yeah, that's the next step for me. I would love to dye my hair like something beautiful and extreme. Like, not extreme necessarily, but just something vibrant. It's one of those, it's always, for any actors who might be listening out there, it's always one of those interesting conversations with your agent. It's not necessarily... Again, that North American normal that everyone is looking for in the industry. But boy, or girl, or they, them, I would love to see what happened if I had pink hair. I would love to see what would happen if I had blue hair. It's another way of expressing ourselves, right? Oh, one day. Something else, Peter says at home. I got it. So you've got something else going on, and that's okay. That is okay. I hope that something else is something that is bringing you joy, helping you move forward. Whatever it might be. That's okay. And the same for everyone. I think if people feel guilty, like if you've had moments where you think I'm sitting here thinking, why hasn't that so-and-so showed up for a live stream? No. First of all, this is something that brings me such pleasure to do and share with whoever shows up for whatever reason, for however long you are able to stay or choose to stay. It's a lovely thing. But you do you. I know there are many things happening. There always were, and now there might be more. You do you. And visit and spend time when you can. A French class, that's why, Peter, thank you. I didn't want to ask. I didn't want to be that intrusive, but congratulations. especially I imagine in Montreal, having French would be a very useful thing. Brilliant. Congratulations. Good for you. And B, wanting to do a section of your hair in rainbow stripes along the sides. Yes. If you couldn't tell from that reaction I just gave, yes. Oh, I'd love to see that. Yep. Rainbow stripes. Please. Let's see. And purple hair. B loves having purple hair, so there you go. Testimony from B about the joys of colorful hair. And then I'm wondering too, so from folks who have colored their hair before in that way, taken that leap, I've never met someone who's regretted doing it. But you must have, there must be things that you'd say, oh, if I'd known this, then I would have done it differently. And yes, we're talking about hair art, everybody. Welcome. We are talking about hair art. What would you recommend to folks who are considering dyeing their hair for the first time? Maybe changing it up completely and taking on some bold, exciting colors. And if there are other folks out there who have experiences with this too, and you'd like to share, please feel free. Yeah, I'm painting. Peter saying, great picture. What are you are painting again? I am watercoloring, just doing some doodles here, exploring, experimenting how it is to use a darker palette. Inspired by like talking with Celeste yesterday and just thinking about dark art, our reactions to it, our responses to it. As an art therapist, I know there's nothing to be afraid of with dark art, even though sometimes each of us can have very visceral reactions to things that we see that are dark or spooky or haunted or look painful. Again, each of us has our own associations with color, our own relationship with color. And we make assumptions sometimes when we look at the colors other people use in their art, when something that is dark or gloomy looking isn't necessarily dark or gloomy at all. It could be very vibrant and positive and full of light. It just depends on how we choose to see it, how we choose to engage, the questions we ask of the art and ourselves and our own reactions to the art, right? And let's see. Oh, hair talk. The maintenance on so many different colors is hard, though. It is. And Shelley had fire truck red hair once. I can see you with fire truck red hair. I think that would look amazing. I'd also like one day to shave my head. That is something that I think I would like to do, but we shall see. We shall see. I'd like to explore and experiment with wigs to see what that is like. But that's a whole other thing, and I know wigs can be pricey. Wigs can be pricey. Let's see. Okay, so always wash, more advice. And Kim, yes, true. Some folks find darker colors comforting. It's absolutely true. It can be something, each one of us, it's a really beautiful thing to explore if you have time to just look at your relationship with color over your life and what brings you comfort, exactly. What brings you joy, what helps you feel a sense of clarity or purpose. Each one of us, it becomes a tool that you can use to help guide you and inform your, everything from the space you live in to how you express yourselves and communicate with other people. Color is another tool that we can use to connect and communicate. But just like any other form of communication, making assumptions is a very human thing. We all do them, but your assumptions only matter if you check them out. And you make that discovery, either confirming what you're thinking or wondering, or learning about what it's like to be someone else and what they're intending to say. Always wash. Okay, so this is about hair. Always wash in cool water as you can. Avoid shampoo with sulfates because they can strip the pigment. This is a master class. Please do not use Head and Shoulders or related shampoos with brightly colored hair because you'll lose the color. Thank you very much, B. Thank you. And Peter saying, I shouldn't shave my hair? Or there's a question mark there. I don't know. I would like to. I would like to one day. And Wendy says, I have to run, but the painting is wonderful and it was great hearing your voice. Oh, well, thank you. Hope. And yes, everyone, please take a look at Wendy's link. If you have music that you'd like to share, play, sing for the seniors in Oshawa. And you know what? Anyone can do that. You don't have to live in Oshawa to do that. Please visit the link Wendy shared earlier in the thread and sign up for a few sessions. If you have any questions, just contact her as well. I'm sure you can message her to learn more about what this process involves. And if you know anyone who might want to take part in it, please feel free to share it with them as well. And we'll all get creating. And yes, I will sign up to read some poetry soon too. I don't know if folks would like that, but I'm craving some poetry reading. I'm just craving it. So that's got to say something, right? Maybe I'll read some punk poetry. It's got to be some old punk rockers in the seniors' residence. Combining maybe some zines, some poetry zines. We'll figure it out. It'll all be fun. And B saying, anytime anyone wants to have their hair buzzed completely off, call you. That's good to know. B's clippers are kind of dicey, but I do my own buzz most of the time, and I think I do a decent job. I know you do a decent job. And in fact, if you can look at B's profile pic there, you can kind of get a sense of it. It looks pretty freaking awesome. What an offer. Wow, what an offer. Safety first, as always. Especially during this time, and I'm sure B would want that anyways. That's all a part of the process. But talking about feeling safe and having someone you trust in that process, it's an important part of it, right? So connect, reach out, build that relationship. What is this image turning into? Oh my gosh, 3:22. Whew. So for anyone tuning in right about now, welcome. We have only a few minutes left before I go say hello to my puppy dog again and take, not a puppy, she's not a puppy, but always be a puppy to me, and take Alice on a walk. I also like to shout out, I will also be sharing the link to Music is Life again for anyone who's interested. It's a free Anthony's movie that he created, directed, edited, the whole thing start to finish, lovely. Working with the Bitov Academy. It's a beautiful, beautiful film. And I'll share that, a link to that on the Facebook, maybe in its own post, so that folks can be reminded about it and join in the live stream premiere on YouTube this Monday. It's free for everyone. You can tune into the live stream. And then if you have any questions for the folks who work with people who live with memory loss and dementia, you can also ask them about that process. And Simon Law, I believe, who's the composer, the story of the film is a composer who works with this group of, this fabulous group of folks to create a song. He's just an extraordinary human being as well and an amazing artist. So, yeah. And Kim, yes, Kim says it's your head, your hair, go for it. Indeed. And Peter's saying, gotta go, but yes, oh, well, thank you. And please don't shave my head. Not yet? Not yet. I'll see. You're not the boss of me, Peter. You're not the boss of me. Yes, and Mary, old punks never die. We just stand at the back of the venue to preserve what's left of our hearing. Indeed. Punk's not dead, it's just gone to bed. And Teresa. Hi, Teresa. Oh, it's so great. Thank you for visiting, Teresa. Thank you. So great to see you. What have you been working on? I'd love to see. I know you've done some extraordinary portraits of animals in your life in the last few months. I'm wondering if you've added to that collection at all. Oh yes, and Peter, if I would love to, Alice, I would love to have an Alice live stream, but really all she does is sleep. And I think that's the greatest lesson in self-care for me, to watch Alice be in the moment and take care of herself so selfishly in the best possible way, knowing what's good for her and what she needs. And every once in a while, venturing out and getting curious and absorbing all those smells. I love it. Yeah, maybe one day I'll see if I can lift her up. She doesn't really love the camera. She doesn't, she's not a social media dog. I wish she was. It would be great to put her to work. Same with my cats. I've got 4 cats. Do any of them want to curl up on my painting to become a viral sensation? No. None of them are interested in any of that. They're not interested in earning their keep. They just want to enjoy being here, and I'm kind of okay with that. Yeah. And Kim, we'll check out Anthony's film. Nice to see you too, Kim. And I will take good care. You too. Take good care, Kim. It's always so nice knowing you're there. Same as everyone else. If you've joined the chat today, I'm so grateful that you've been here and that you're taking part, you're saying hello. If you're listening and just sort of sitting back and enjoying your day, that's okay too. Sometimes chatting can take a lot of effort, right? So if we can play a small part in bringing some joy to your day, some relief to your day, happy to do that. Happy to do that. And it's been nice. I haven't done a watercolor doodle in a long, long time. What I'll probably do with this is continue to build upon these colors. I might let some parts of it dry a little bit more. What I love about this process, as I build upon all the colors and just let them do what they want to do, they kind of become, it almost reminds me of a map. Like if I was flying high above the city in a plane and looking down on fields and continents or whatever, I feel like there's something, there's a mappy kind of feel. There's another word for that. Cartography? No, not exactly. Just something elemental, something physical about this kind of watercolor doodling that just brings me great satisfaction. I don't know why. It doesn't necessarily take a lot of skill to do it. It just brings me pleasure. And that's what I'm inviting other folks out there to consider as well. And whatever you choose to do, whatever you choose to create, even when you're just letting out the dark stuff and letting the art hold the hard stuff, it may not look pretty in the way that you thought it or expected it would or hoped it would. Give yourself some time, give yourself some space, step away from it, because what it is honest. And there's always beauty in honesty. Always. Even though the relationship we have with that kind of beauty might be complicated. And B, yeah, it's been lovely to have you here, B. Thank you so much. And existing in community, yeah, that's what it's about. Knowing that we can have some kind of connection to one another and that we're not alone. We're together in all of this somehow, some way. And if you want to reach out for supports, know that they're there. And you can reach out to one another. And topography, thank you, Anthony Granny. Thank you for that callback. That's good. That's what it reminds me of, topography. Thank you. Amazing. Amazing. And after this, you know what I'll do? I'll post a picture of this on the Facebook page. And oh yes, Shelley would love to do clay one day. Love making creations. Let's see. Need to take pictures to show people. Yeah, in your own time. Like no pressure. But I'll post after this little show and tell of this, and I will invite people to share pictures or links to what they've been working on. Perhaps maybe if there's other things, maybe it's not your own work. Maybe it's a link to another artist's work that you'd like to share with folks. That's fine too. Again, just keeping those creative options out there for one another, the resources, the connections, so that we can keep creative, dip in when we need to. Let's see what we have here. And yes, I could continue working on this, and I think I'll have to let it dry, and I'll come back to it later. She says, knowing that she should be wrapping up, but not being able to. Yeah, I find this process pretty relaxing. I'm glad that I chose this today. So yes, thank you to everyone. Oh, thanks, Teresa. Thank you. Another compliment to put in my pocket. Thank you very much. Thank you to everyone who's joined us today. Let me give a close-up on that to see what it looks like. Is that a close-up? Let's see. Nope. Let's see. That? No, let's see. This. Yeah, that's it. I was right the first time. Thank you to everyone who's joined. Thanks for hanging out and making art with me or doing whatever you're doing. Folding laundry, reading, organizing. Thanks for being here. I always appreciate these afternoons. And again, a nice reminder, if you do find yourself feeling really dark and feeling really low, reach out. You can reach out to me, but you can also reach out to all the other amazing resources that are available in our community. And if there are any resources that people particularly enjoy out there, feel free to post them in the links as well. Because again, we may not always all be based in Oshawa. And wherever the links and the resources are, it's nice to know that we can reach out and connect with somebody. So take care of yourselves, take care of your hearts, and do what you can. Just do your best to take care and make meaning of what you're going through. And when we connect again, we can catch up and see how we're doing. Oh, I'm glad. Shelley's saying it's good to have this to look forward to, love being creative and hear what others do. I do too. So we'll be here next Wednesday, 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. And don't forget to check in on Instagram for our live stream chats. And I'll be uploading some archived ones onto YouTube as well. But every Tuesday on Instagram from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. roughly. And here every Wednesday from 2 p.m. to 3:30. That's it. I'll see you again soon. But take care, and until we can create and connect with one another again in person, I look forward to connecting and creating with you here online. Thanks for being you, folks. Have a great day.